This is Jason Collington. I'm here with sports columnist Bill Haisten. We're talking spring football. It is that time of year. Bill, it sounds like there's a lot of storylines because really we are in the new era of free agent football when it comes to high school. And as you
Right.
know recently, a new era of NIL, name, image, and likeness, where these kids are getting checks for showing up at events, putting their name on merch. Bill,
Right.
what's the storyline that you're most attracted to walking into spring football?
Well, it starts Monday. It's 2 weeks of sanctioned Oklahoma Secondary School Activities Association sanctioned spring practice. You they come in behind that, immediately behind that, with like a couple of weeks of team camp competition at all different sites. And it's really the more intense football experience for these kids are those team camps. So really most of the next month, these guys are playing football. Or really doing football, I should say.
Right,
They're
right.
doing football, and so obviously, to me, it's the most eventful spring practice I can ever remember. In that Owasso, Broken Arrow, Union, Jinx, Muskogee, Wagner, all had head coaching changes. And
Unreal. Yeah.
yeah, because at none of these places a few months ago would you have expected that, right? And then now, and then more recently was
A
kind of
couple
the shock.
switched between them.
Well, yeah, a lot of it was a guy going from A to B. And then the more recent shocking change was at Booker T. Washington. Nobody saw that coming. And, we still don't know all the reasons why. But after one glorious season, Dan Bitson's out at Booker T. Nate Goodman is in. And so, how does that spring practice look for the Hornets? There's a
Right.
great concern at Booker T about the retention of really talented kids and
Because this is
keeping
a
them.
free agency. There's not a contract, right? These kids can leave whenever they want.
Oh yeah, no
That,
doubt. Well, right, and
it's
and and it's they it's there's nothing illegal about it. You can do it as long as you abide by the rules, as long as you either do it through the open transfer criteria or move into the district. You've got but you can't. I mean, it's still not completely the old Wild West, but you can it's very common and somewhat simple, although I shouldn't say that moving is simple. Moving's hard. And if it
yeah.
requires a family move or a parental move in addition, to get the kid in the district, that's hard. But you see it everywhere. And, there's a lot of movement that has happened in the last month, 6 weeks. The most recent movement I'm aware of is that a really good 1,000-yard running back from Owasso, Jason Mall, has announced, and Bill Blankenship confirmed it, that he's leaving Owasso to go to Bixby. Well, that was the one piece Bixby kind of lacked last season, was an impact running back.
Yeah.
They kind of did the run game with a Wildcat quarterback situation.
Still won the championship, but yeah.
No, well, that Wildcat quarterback scored the winning touchdown and 2-point conversion. So yeah, it went well. But I think they would like to be a little more complete
Right.
offensively. And this kind of takes care of that for Bixby, which is, of course, the only school that did stand pat with a head coach going into his 16th year with 10 championships now, and each
Unreal.
coordinator been there more than a dozen years. And Jason with 18 returning starters. So obviously Bixby is overwhelmingly the favorite to repeat again. That would be a fourth consecutive 6A1 championship and an 11th championship in 12 years for that program. So you're a few years ago, you think,
Unreal.
wow, you're starting to think, wow, they're kind of starting to look like Jinx did with Alan Trimble. Well, with regard to just streaking it out with championships, they kind of surpassed what Jinx did then.
Yeah.
So, but no, it'll be very interesting. This first week of practice, and actually, they've been allowed. The schools are allowed, Jason, now by the OSSAA to do a football period, right? So I went to Wassau's practice 2 days ago. And I mean, they were in shorts, but I mean, they were practicing football, 11-man football. So it's here. It never really goes away, but it's really back in full force now for about the next month with the spring practice combined with the team camps. Um, but yeah, there's storylines all over the place. And Barry Lewis and I'm chasing them all day today to try to get ahead on next week. We've got a Sunday package. I kind of buried the lead here. So we've got one of the biggest moves of the winter was not a move at all. It was the Owasso quarterback decision to stay in Owasso.
Right. Yeah.
Because the family was open about it. They were looking at maybe moving to Union with Antonio Graham and Zach Simmons because of the familiarity from last year. Okay. Well, he stays. And I talked to Bill Blankenship 2 weeks ago. I said, how's your quarterback? He says, you won't recognize him when you see him next. And I'm like, oh. So I make a mental note. Let's ride on Owasso right out of the gate. I go there. Bill did not exaggerate. Drew Frankenfield was 6', 175 last season as a sophomore. He is 6'2", 205 now.
Wow.
And he's on Oklahoma State's radar. He's on K-State's radar. He's got the arm. He already had the arm talent. Now he's got impressive size, and so he's one of 100 storylines we'll be chasing over the next month or so.
So we've got the high school and college football preview will be coming out August 24th, which will be here before you know it. We have already started talking about storylines and things that we're going to cover there. OKPrepsExtra.com. That's your home for high school sports. That's where all of Bill's and Barry Lewis's work appears. We've got a lot of stuff going on in terms of high school. Again, so many storylines. We're going to cover them all. And Bill, I appreciate you joining us today.
Yep, great. Thank you, Jason.